Welcome to part 3 of Urban Rivals Talk 18. And in this part, we'll be discussing the two kind of 3 week ago cards, Norman and Kawamashi. But firstly, let's talk about Norman. Norman at 3 stars, the Berserk is an 8/4 with the ability of Backlash, -1 pill, minimum 4. So firstly, Sliffy, Sliffy, what was your kind of initial thoughts on this card?
I personally really like Norman. I think he's probably one of the best cards in his clan so far. He has 8 solid power, which is really good for a 3-star. His 4 damage becomes 6 in theory, early game, math, whatever. His backlash is kind of hurtful, but it's really not the hugest of deal. I feel, especially late game. Like it's completely ignorable late game. I feel, though you shouldn't really play Berserk late game. But yeah, I think he's a very strong, solid card and very low flaws, personally.
Okay, I was just thinking about that. You're saying they're not a clan for the late game. I would disagree with that.
Oh, really? Here we go.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, with Backlash, if you're going to play it, I would probably play it later on in the game. If I'm being honest with you.
Well, when I say late game, I imply your opponent has like less health. If you're gonna like not do any damage and then do all your damage at the end of the game, sure, go for it, I guess.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, initial thoughts on it, Smokey for the win.
I was actually surprised. I was looking at presets earlier, and people were taking Norman out of the Berserk clan because of, the backlash. I don't think it hurts you that much. I think that he is good actually earlier game, even though he does take away the 1 pill. I mean, an 8/6 3-star. I don't know a lot of other 3-stars that have those kind of stats. Probably some of the Junta or Fang Pai do, but he's a really stable card. I think that he's solid, and I think that he'll be used a lot more later when more Berserk cards come out.
Okay. I want to kind of disagree with both of you. I don't know.
Okay, go for it.
I'm just the issue is I have with Norman is that if you're gonna win with him, I mean the issue is you're gonna have to take that -1 pill. Now I don't know if your opponent will want to take the 6 damage, so as a result will probably try and go up against it. So as a result you probably end up having to play quite a lot of pills in the opening in order to win. Maybe that's kind of just me really, but I don't know. Do you guys? I mean, with Backlash, do you think that people are going to actually purposely lose against it, or are people actually going to try and take it on? Kind of open to forum on that one. Just,
Who was that directed toward?
No, I said open forum. So.
Well, let's Smokey for the win go first then.
I think that. I mean, personally, I wouldn't let him win. I wouldn't want to take 6 damage because you don't know how many pills he is going to play. I think that the only problem with his backlash is that it's kind of. You always have to have that in the back of your head that you're going to lose 1 extra pill if you do win.
Yeah, I think that's the issue because that I'm having really when I was playing it with him, is that in the opening, for example, I mean you want to kind of win with this card because then 6 damage, pretty awesome. So I'll end up playing something like 6 pills on him, and as a result, if my opponent bluffed against me, I'm then at 5 pills left, he's got 12 pills, and there's like no way of coming back as a result, which is kind of my huge problem. I mean, what do you think about this, Sliffy?
I still don't think he's a early game card. Like, I think, don't get me wrong, I think he can play early game and he'll do very well. But like his backlash has a min of 4, so late game it's not as hard hitting, if at all even noticeable. He's 3 stars, and he will win a good amount of ties. He's 8 solid power. I don't really see the argument against him, except for the fact that if you go risky, you lose risky.
Yeah, I mean, the only kind of argument I would say is kind of up against attack manipulation cards, things like the uppers. I was kind of thinking about that really, but
that's the entire clan's big problem right now. I feel.
Yeah, I think hopefully with more releases, they'll be able to counter it. Like probably protection minus opponents. I don't know, something like that. Protection, attack manipulation, or something like that. Anyway, yeah.
I'm waiting for the day they have 2 abilities at once. So it'll be like an ability, but with backlash. I think that wouldn't be overpowered at all.
That would be pretty good, actually. I was thinking about like courage backlash. That'd be pretty good. And you end up having to play it like I don't know, something like that. But you know what I mean? Or revenge or confidence backlash. That'd be pretty good. Anyway, enough of that kind of imagining. Right, so anyway, yes. So I mean, compared to the other 3 stars, though, do you think that Norman's like competes against them in any way? I'd say that to Smokey for the win.
I think Norman is. I mean, he's debatable over Kawamashi. It depends if you're having trouble with the attack manipulation. If you don't really care about that, then I would go with Norman. But I would rather have Kawamashi just because there are so many clans that are attack manipulation that you might have troubles with.
And what about you, though, Sliffy? Do you think that he's the best 3 star at the moment for the Berserk?
I actually agree with Smokey for the win. I think Kawamashi is a little bit more solid. The main reason is Kawamashi doesn't have backlash, and he has a positive ability versus Norman, who has a negative ability. But I still think Norman's a very good card.
Okay. One final question on Backlash, actually. I was kind of thinking about this. What about defeat cards plus Backlash? I was kind of thinking if, like, for example, if you do like a Backlash, but then you do up against a defeat card, will that actually? Do you think that's going to be actually a huge problem for Backlash in the future? If there's more kind of defeat cards, like for example, let's say I play off my Beef or something, and then my opponent plays like Sea Wing. Do you think that's going to be a huge problem for the clan in the future? They're going up against more defeat cards. That's too sliffy, I'll say.
I guess it depends on the situation. Like, if you play Sea Wing and I kill you, then okay. But it really depends. It depends on how big Backlash gets too as well. Right now, as mentioned before, there's only 2 cards with Backlash, so we'll have to see.
Okay. And what about you, though, Smick for the win? Do you think that like Backlash plus defeat's going to be a huge problem for the clan at the moment, or kind of like early doors, I suppose? No, I don't think it's even.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too early. Maybe the more that backlash that comes out. The only problem that I see is that I mean there are clans that have multiple defeat cards, so they are a little tough to get around sometimes. But I don't really think that somebody's gonna think, oh, this person's using Berserk or Berserk's getting more popular. I need to get more defeat cards in my deck.
Okay. All right. So let's kind of go to the ratings now. So rating out of 10, Smokey. What would you give Norman?
I'm gonna give him an 8.25. I think that he's solid.
That's we have ratings with decimal places of.
Yes.
Of,
Yes. I think that he would be a 9 if he didn't have the backlash, but then also I think he might be a little bit overpowered if he didn't have it. But just a really good card if you need the win, and that's what this clan has troubles with, is if they need the win, it's kind of tough for them.
And out of 10, Steffi, what would you give Norman?
I'm gonna round off and go 8.5. I everything that somebody for the win said is just about what I wanted to say.
Wow. I think we have a new Sliffy on the show.
Oh, I see how this is.
Do you think Smokey, you could write all the Sliffy reviews in the future?
Good luck with everybody.
Enjoy all the trolls. Anyway, yes, what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Norman's a good card. 8-4, same stats as like Tide, but the difference is he does have the minus 2 life minimum 2, so it ends up coming out as a sort of like an 8-6 really, so it can do serious damage to your opponent. Having said that though, I still don't really like the defeat too much. No, not the defeat, the backlash. Due to the fact that if you actually end up winning it and your opponent like bluffs, or for example, it's going to cause you huge problems. So as a result, I'll end up probably giving it an 8 out of 10.
I'd like to point out before we have this that the min is 4. Just play that out there.
Let's say min 1.
Hmm?
What? No, I didn't say it was min 1, or did I?
No, I'm just reminding kids, so you won't always lose a pill if you play it anytime.
And I understand this, but then after kind of, I don't know, you kind of never, usually, like in the 3rd round, you should still only have like 6 pills. Just kind of.
Well, are you gonna 0 pill him or something?
I don't know. I'm kind of. Screw.
When you use pills, once you're at 6 pills, they go below 4. I generally assume.
Yeah, I kind of see what you mean, but I know really because you tend to. I don't know. I forget it.
I think you just won this argument, so I will submit.
I'll just say you won it for this time. You know.
Okay. Oh, cool.
So
I never win arguments. Cool.
1-0 to Sliffy there.
Yay.
I bet you feel special, Sliffy. Is it?
Yuppa.
All right, let's go to the final release of the batch 3 weeks ago. I mean, we have 5 minutes to do this. We need to hurry up. And the final release was Kawamashi. Probably one of my favorite releases, actually, of the Berserk. Actually, Kawamashi at 3 stars is a 7/3 with the ability of +9 attack. So, initial thoughts on it, Smokey for the win.
I mean, out of the first batch, he was the only card that could really take the attack manipulation. I think that it's kind of odd that it's +9, but he's still a 7/5, and I think he's solid as well. But I don't know. I would probably rather have Norman over Kawamashi, but he's still really good.
And initial thoughts on it, Sliffy.
I'm actually very flustered with this current review because well, let's state some facts first. 7 power, okay, I guess. Ability, attack manipulation, first one in the clan. +9 isn't bad at all. It makes him slightly better than usual. 3 plus 2, 5, not bad for a 3-star. 7/5 with +9, not terrible. I think he's one of the best 3-stars in this current clan because of it, actually. One can debate Norman, and that's a long debate I don't want to get into. However, when I think about him with other clans, though, I don't know if 7/5 +9 attack is actually that, mind-blowing that it makes him that great.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, for example, people were making the comparison with Rodney, saying, "Oh, Rodney's got one more attack," sort of thing. But I no, I mean, I see what you mean. Yeah, because things like Dayton, I guess.
Right, if you go to the 3 stars in every other clan, the best.
I mean, yeah,
stars,
things like Chira, for example.
Right.
Chira really beats.
Right now, I think he's the best in his clan right now. But if this is the best 3-star that Berserk gets, we might have problems.
Yeah, I definitely think he's not a great 3-star in any sense, well, any kind of sense of the imagination, really. But at the same time, though, I think he's a very good card at gluing up the whole of the Berserk, actually, because I think the issue is with the Berserkers, they have so much issues with power manipulation, attack manipulation, things like that. That actually Kawamashi actually shines as a result, really. Okay, so let's go to ratings out of 10. So, Sliffy, out of 10, what would you give Kawamashi?
I give Kawamashi the same rating as I gave Norman. I give him an 8.5. I like his attack manipulation, and I think he's solid attack, or power. However, if he's the best that Berserk gets, then we have problems.
Okay. And out of 10, Smokey for the win, what would you give Kawamashi?
I would give him an 8. The attack manipulation helps the clan a lot, because they have a very glaring weakness about that. But I would rather use Norman over him, I think.
Okay, I definitely agree with both of you, actually. I definitely think he's still a good card. Probably an 8.5 out of 10, but unfortunately, I wouldn't say he's an amazing card. When I first saw him, I didn't think he was overpowered in any way. As a result, I'll probably give him an 8.5 out of 10, as he still kind of glues together the whole clan, but hopefully Berserk will get better releases, and maybe this card might end up seeing the sidelines as a result. Alright, so thank you for watching part 3 of Unrival's Talk. I'll see you guys in part 4. We'll be discussing the brand new cards from a week ago. See you then.